By the time we get to training camp, I would certainly think that Kevin Stefanski's going to want to have a real good idea of, okay, here's the 2 or 3 guys we've got to give those reps to. Does that mean that you're cutting somebody or trading somebody? Not necessarily, but it does mean you're going to be shifting those reps in a certain direction.
What was it, just a week ago, certain people in the Browns media not only pulled trade rumors out of thin air, but then decided to pontificate on said trade rumors, creating alternate realities in which Shedeur and Dion had requested trades and all this other nastiness.
Shedeur Sanders just made the Browns' trade rumor machine look desperate. For weeks, the noise kept getting louder. Some people said Cleveland was taking calls. Some said the Browns could move him before camp. Some acted like Shedeur was already on the way out. But then Tom Pelissero stepped in and shut the whole thing down. He said he would put zero stock in the idea that the Browns are looking to trade Shedeur. And once that came out, the rumors started falling apart fast. Pelissero did not sound confused. He did not make the rumor stronger. He cut through it. He basically told people to stop acting like Cleveland is secretly trying to dump Shedeur. And that matters, because Pelissero is not just a fan reacting online. He is an NFL insider. When he says put zero stock in something, that changes the conversation. That shows how the rumor took over. It sounded dramatic. Teams are calling, Cleveland might listen, Shedeur could be moved. But the problem was always the same. The football logic did not match the noise. The Browns still do not have a clean quarterback answer. Deshaun Watson still has questions. Dillon Gabriel still has to prove his role. Taylor Green is still developing. So why would Cleveland rush to trade the one young quarterback who still gives them upside? That is where Shedeur forced the conversation to change. Not by talking, not by complaining, not by posting every 5 minutes. He forced it by staying valuable. He forced it by improving. He forced it because the Browns still need to find out what he can become. A team that has been searching for quarterback stability for years should not be giving away a possible answer before training camp even starts.
You've heard Andrew Berry and Todd Monken talk about the differences night and day as far as the work he's put in the offseason and being in the middle of a quarterback competition. Why in the world would you trade Shedeur Sanders, leaving Deshaun Watson as your starter, for a team that says they're trying to win this year?
That is the real question. What would the Browns even get back? A late-round pick? A future flyer? Some weak return that doesn't fix anything? That would make no sense. Cleveland would be trading a young quarterback with momentum for something that probably doesn't help the team. That is not smart roster building. That is panic. And this is why the rumor looked weak from the start. If Deshaun Watson was fully locked in as the long-term answer, maybe the Browns could think differently. But Deshaun is still trying to prove he can be that guy again. If the Browns were done evaluating Shedeur, maybe the rumor would make more sense. But they are not done. Training camp is still coming. Preseason still matters. Real reps still matter.
Happening. I think Shedeur has come on so strong in the last few weeks that it's making them think, maybe we should see what he can do in training camp before we decide that perhaps Deshaun Watson might be QB1 on the depth chart.
Mary Kay's report is the part that makes the trade talk even harder to believe. She said Watson had the early edge. That is fair. He's the veteran, he has the experience, he has the contract. But Shedeur worked his way back into the conversation. That is what matters. The gap got smaller. And once the gap gets smaller, the Browns cannot just throw Shedeur away. This is not about crowning him too early. Shedeur still has things to prove. He still has to show he can handle pressure. He still has to run the offense clean. He still has to stack good days when the pads come on. But if he's improving in the areas coaches care about, then Cleveland has to keep watching. That is the whole point.
Shedeur Sanders has made up significant ground in the Browns quarterback race, and it is neck to neck with Deshaun Watson.
That progress is why media members had to adjust. At first, some people treated Shedeur like a famous name. They acted like the story was bigger than the player. But once reports started talking about improved footwork, better reads, and more command, the conversation changed. Now the question is not whether Shedeur belongs in the room. The question is how far he can climb inside it. And that's where the trade rumor starts looking like damage control. Because if Shedeur is closing the gap, then the Browns media can't keep acting like he's just extra baggage. He's part of the battle. He's part of the future conversation. He's part of the pressure on Watson. That makes him too important to move for a weak return.
This is a true heated battle, and this one's only going to heat up in training camp. As was told to me, Deshaun Watson went into the spring as the clear favorite, and that Shedeur Sanders has bridged the gap at least somewhat. I still believe Deshaun Watson's in a good position.
This shows the real shift. The story used to be simple. Watson was the favorite, Shedeur was chasing. The veteran had control, the young quarterback had to wait. But now, the story is not that simple anymore. The battle is still open. The Browns are still watching. Todd Monken has not shut the door. Every day that door stays open, Shedeur gains more leverage. And this is exactly why Pelissero's shutdown hit so hard. It exposed the gap between rumor and reality. Rumor said the Browns could be ready to move him. Reality says the Browns still have reasons to keep him. Rumor said Shedeur might be expendable. Reality says Cleveland still needs quarterback answers. Rumor said the trade talk was serious. Reality says serious insiders are telling people not to buy it.
I think Deshaun or Shedeur are going to make the obviously that might not happen, but that's what Monken's thinking. I can turn this thing right now. It might not happen, but the things they do leading up to game one, that's important. How they attack this, it cannot be preparing for 2027.
It is not just fans saying keep Shedeur. Former players and Browns voices understand the same thing. You do not give away a young quarterback before you know what he is, especially not when the room is unsettled, especially not when the starter has questions, especially not when the player is improving. This is where the Browns have to be smart. The franchise has made too many rushed quarterback decisions over the years, too many resets, too many short-term fixes, too many names coming in and out. Shedeur gives them something different. He gives them a real evaluation. That does not mean he is guaranteed to be the answer. It means you do not stop the test before the test begins. While everyone else argues, Shedeur keeps working. That's the best response to the rumors. Reps, throws, footwork, timing, chemistry. He does not have to win a media war. He has to win enough football moments to make the Browns keep believing. And that's what he has already done. He made the trade rumor look too loud. He made the Browns media walk back the panic. He made insiders step in and separate facts from noise. And he made Cleveland's quarterback room impossible to talk about without mentioning his name. That's why this story is not going away. The Browns do not need to trade Shedeur Sanders right now. They need to test him. They need to see him in camp. They need to see him in preseason. They need to find out if the progress is real. Because if Shedeur keeps closing the gap, this trade rumor will not just look wrong, it will look like people were trying to move him out before he had a chance to prove them wrong. And that's why Browns media is changing its tone. The rumor was loud, the logic was weak, the insider pushback was clear, and Shedeur Sanders is still standing right in the middle of the Browns' quarterback future.